Hey, what's up, y'all? Hope everybody's doing well. My name is Sean Diamond. I'm a photographer, cinematographer, and creative brand director, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm excited to kick off a little bit of a series of topics, not only getting into the creative journey, as I am as a multimedia artist, but also getting into the creative process from the visuals I create. Today, I'm excited to get into showing you my creative journey as a multimedia artist. I've been doing this for 14 years now, and I want to be able to showcase a little bit more of my creative process, the way I think, the way I get into preparing for a photo shoot or being able to create a nice creative concept for a conceptual shoot. When I got into the industry, I was surrounded by a lot of artists, whether it's producers or musicians. I've been around a lot of creative energy my whole life, so just being around in the studio and things, like I have people I work with or collaborate in the past, and what I would do was I would have a camera that I owned, and I got it as a little gift, something I could just use just to play with. And I started taking pictures with the camera I had with the people around me just for fun, just so I can get some practice. It wasn't really something I was taking seriously. It was just something that I was just like, you know what, let's just try it. We had fun with it. We have some dope photos from it. And as time goes on, I got really good at shooting it. And a lot of people saying, yo, bring your camera next time when you go outside. It's like, it wasn't even cool to be a photographer or a director like that. So I was just like, I wasn't taking it seriously like that. I was just pretty much using it as a hobby, but it got me through some interesting doors along the way. Like how I got into it, I had to really make a choice. I was getting into it with the decision of like where I'm trying to be in the next few years. And I had to make a decision to see like where I want to go, because I really didn't know what I was going to do after high school. Like I really had no plans at all. I knew I wanted to be great, but I wanted to figure out what I want to make of myself after high school. And I think the person who pushed me the most was my father when it came to like being an entrepreneur. It was actually challenging to think like, yo, what do you want to make of yourself after this? You know, do you want legacy? Do you want to be iconic? What are you trying to do? So I had to think long and hard about those things. And it was the first time I actually got really challenged like this. So I started thinking about the camera I was using and how fulfilling it was when I was bringing it out, being around my peers and things like that, right? One of the things that I will say that I found it very rewarding and actually quite therapeutic, utilizing my camera out on road. My outlook on photography was seeing how ageless it can be. You do this up to when you're 70, you're 60, you're 80 years old. And that's quite fulfilling for me, because I want to be able to do what I love for a lifetime. You know, you can be able to travel, you can be able to go to any place in the world, and everybody's going to want to be able to work with you no matter what. As long as you have a camera, some work needs to be done, whether it's an advertisement, whether it's creative, or whether it's a music video or a conceptual photo shoot for an album, something like that. Everybody needs you. To see the outlooks and where it can go and looking at the pros and the cons of it, I kind of like the idea of like how it's not routine based, and every project can change, it can be different from the other one. So that intrigued me to get into it a little bit more. So that's what piqued my interest. Once it started piquing my interest a little bit more deeper, I started like going to my best friend and my cousin at the time to discuss like, yo, what do you think about this? And they said, yo, you should just do it. Fuck it. So I just said, you know what? Let me enroll myself into the Toronto Film School, downtown at Yonge and Dundas. And the first day that I got into the class, that was the first time I realized like I belong here. When it came to talking about the technical language, what you can do and what you can do with the camera, how far you can take it, I said I knew I belonged here. I knew I'm like, yeah, this is something I want to do for the rest of my life. As time went on, as I was in the program, I was taking my time just learning and networking as much as possible. So I know for a fact I love to shoot, so I was just shooting anything. I was getting into shooting architecture, I was shooting portraits, I was shooting videos, I was shooting interviews, whatever the case may be. Anything to get my foot in the door of just figure out where it can take me, I was just figuring it out, just exploring things. The more I started shooting, the more I started realizing what my niche was. And once I understood like what I liked and loved, I was like, yeah, I think this is my niche. My niche is definitely, when it comes to shooting photography, I love shooting editorials. Love creating concept from scratch. I think it's inspired by like Vogue magazine photos, Vogue magazines that I was looking at back in the 90s. Like I don't know what it did to me, just looking at the models and the fashion back then, but the fashion trends from there, where hip hop is mixed into being intermingled with, I guess you could say I was kind of drawn to it in a subconscious sense. So I wanted to make sure that like, all right, if I'm gonna be able to explore this niche, I want to understand it and understand its history and what certain words mean. Like I didn't know what grunge was for quite a while, and then I realized like the things that I fell in love with there was a term for it. So I loved grunge. I loved like Polaroids. I love the feeling and the character it brings in certain images. So that's what some things that I fell in love with. Those things always stick to me, like learning about the character profiles of like certain ways that you can shoot and the feeling it gives off of. So I implement that in my photos and my video process, so that way that when I'm shooting with anybody or I'm shooting with any business, I'm bringing them into their own world and create it specifically for them or tailored for them. I think when it comes to the best editorial photography that I've ever done in my career, I think getting the Playboy shoot that I've done in Malibu, California was probably the best and the highest form of photography that I've ever done, because the model that I was working with, the stories and the experience behind that whole photo shoot was super dope to me. I was there in California with my boy, trying to develop a way how we can be able to do a music video out there, and we had no plan. And I would say the fact that I was able to network with so many different people on Melrose Ave, to bringing them to my world and trying to be able to greet them and learn about that culture for the very first time. I was in like a survival mode when it comes to like trying to figure out how I can make this work. We had only 7 days to get the photos done, get the video done, get the concept done, and actually like make this all work and make sense. I had to find new models, fresh new models that never met before. And one of them, the models that I happened to work with, happened to be this girl by the name of Raven Durant. And when I met Raven, she was very down to earth, very cool, and very like creative, to be able to like very abundant, to the point where it's like when it came to the concept that I really wanted to do, she was down for whatever. And that's something that I really love. The fact that I can take my concept to the highest heights and have it in the best locations and the best settings ever, that was probably the best feeling for me, because of like everything that I dreamed of that I wanted to create was made out there. And I will never forget that whole ride. I think we'll save that for another video, but that whole timeline of being out there and just allowing my creative juices to just flow and just be free, that was the best feeling in the world. Like I think I was out there for 5-6 hours shooting and making sure I got all the best takes and the best photos. And I shot about 2,500 to 3,500 photos that day. I did not skip a beat. That was the best creative experience for me ever, because like that allowed me to be published on Playboy Croatia for the first time. The things that I try to do when it comes to pushing myself is just look back at history, at where we come, and look at history's evolution of the state of I try to my best to like look at the history and the evolution of art back in the 90s, the 80s, the 60s, and then look at where it's at right now in modern time. That will allow me to know how to be a lot more innovative and how I can push the envelope a little bit more for things that hasn't been done. In order to be a little bit more innovative, you got to be able to look what has been done, figure out what's being done today in modern time, and then look how you can take it and change it or elevate it to the next level. I try my best to think about things that people are not doing all the time. And if people are not doing something that they're scared to do, I try to take it there so it can be a lot more fulfilling. And I try to make my models or the people I work with understand that mind state. Even when it comes to business, even when it comes to artist collaboration, I try my best to make sure that they can be able to stay and live in that abundance of creative freedom. When it comes to rejection, I used to be a little bit emotional, I won't lie. People are always gonna be criticizing your work for whatever reason. I think it's very important to maintain and keep your style of niche that you know very well, very intact, because 9 times out of 10, not everybody's gonna like your work, but the very good few people that do like your niche and like your style, they're gonna stick with you and they're gonna love you for what you do. I feel like it's very important for everybody to stick with their style and niche because it sets you apart from everybody else and it makes you very distinctive in the culture. So I pride myself on making sure I'm very distinctive and stylistically different from everybody else, because that's when you think of artists that you're working with, you want to make them be a part of your world when it comes to working with you, right? The part of the reason why they work with you and chose to work with you is because they like the feeling that you give. When it's all said and done, people are going to remember you for the style and unique point of view that you bring to the world. I would say Hype Williams is definitely an inspiration for my creative style. Director X as well. I like his mood when it comes to creating like a real dark synergy in his like creative visuals. Quentin Tarantino's crispy film look in Pulp Fiction is definitely an inspiration for me as well. It's a big inspiration because I really do value the grain. So I really like that film look because it creates like a timeless style. So that's something that I'm definitely attracted to. Creating a timeless, unique style, like with the crispy film grain look, is definitely something that I feel like is iconic and it looks and feels timeless. So that's something that I'm definitely attracted to. The people that I've named so far, those are the things that make me want to fuse my style and create something that feels very unique every single time. If I can be able to create that same profile or character in my lens for a business organization or a small business, I would, and I would do the same for a lot of influencers too. Like, these are the things that I would talk about with artists and models that I work with. I want them to think a lot more abundant when it comes to doing this, because if you're going to do this, might as well make it feel timeless. Saying goes, it's called steel sharpens steel, and iron sharpens iron. So when you're around a lot of creative people that are just as good as you are, if not better than you, it will definitely keep you motivated to keep on going and figure out different ways how you can elevate yourself. Being around that competitive spirit is always going to make you want to elevate yourself naturally. Another thing is music. Music is a big inspiration in my work, so depending on the mood of the song, especially when it comes to trap soul, I love creating concepts developed around trap soul music, and a lot of hip hop too, gritty hip hop from the 90s, but also like new hip hop too. I try to make sure that I bring that creative influence in the vibe from the song and try to make sure that it's tailored around a concept that I'm developing for a specific model or an influencer or a musician that I'm working with. What you can expect from me in 2025 is me being in the creative brand directing position. This is something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a creative director when it comes to any project that I'm working on with any client and things. And I think I got the chance to finally be in full creative control of a project that is near and dear to me this year. One of the projects I'm working on is Ebony Market, and it's a Black-owned app that is empowering and unifying all Black businesses in the GTA of Toronto. This is something that I really want to be able to pride myself with. It's a mission, it's a very big goal of mine, and I want to roll out in the campaign to change a lot of people's lives and change a lot of business owners. Shout out to Rashad and Ebony Market team, but this is something that I love, that I like doing. This is the fulfillment I'm talking about, when you can have a person who can trust in the vision and the goals and the strategy of how you can be able to visualize everything that can work to try to empower everybody. This is the fulfillment I love, and being able to make this tailor-made from scratch out of thin air, and being able to just do a lot of critical thinking. Doing idea generation is something I really love when it comes to developing projects. So I like to brainstorm a lot. I'm a overthinker, and I really like to do a lot of critical thinking on how people think, how people view, how people pertain and perceive a brand, and how I can provide value and meaning towards that brand as well. This is something that I'm doing right now with Ebony Market, where I'm trying to bring all the businesses together and show how unique they are by showcasing visual storytelling amongst all the businesses in the GTA. So this is something that I want everybody to look forward to. Hey, thank you for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. You can follow me on my socials in the link below. My name is Sean Diamond, and my socials on Instagram is Sean Diamond SSC, and you can follow me on my website at SeanSignatureCollection.com. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. Peace.